The 2024 Summer Olympics are finally upon us, and it is time for the biggest volleyball tournament in the world to begin. 12 volleyball nations that qualified for this year's tournament will all be battling it out in Paris, France to decide who the top 3 best volleyball teams are in the world. There are a lot of absolutely phenomenal volleyball teams all hoping to make history by bringing home their country a medal. And just in case you're watching this video and thinking to yourself, hey, all of this sounds really interesting, but I have absolutely no idea what national volleyball is or what it looks like, then you, my friend, were exactly like me 3 months ago before I took my trip around the world following the Volleyball Nations League. Going into that trip, I had no idea how volleyball at the national level worked, and after my time following the VNLs had concluded, I became obsessed with volleyball at this level. So I made it my personal mission that in today's video, I will be explaining everything that you need to know for the 2024 Paris Olympic Volleyball Tournament. And for today's video, we will specifically be focusing on men's volleyball. By the time you finish this video, you will be equipped with everything you need to know about this year's 2024 Olympic Volleyball Tournament. So without further ado, make sure you leave a like on this video, comment down below who you think's gonna take home the gold medal, and make sure to subscribe if you're new. We are currently on the way to 250,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. With all of that being said, let's hop straight into the Olympics. So unless you actually live under a rock, you probably heard of this little thing called the Olympics. If you've never heard of it, basically it's this big sporting event that happens every 4 years, and a ton of different nations compete in a bunch of different sports and events to see who's best at this and that. There's pretty much every single track and field event you can think of, things like swimming, and also a lot of different ball sports. And the one that I'm most excited about is, well, obviously volleyball. This year for the 2024 Summer Olympics, we will be seeing 12 nations compete for gold. These 12 nations will represent 5 different continents. The nation of France automatically qualified for the tournament because they are the host site of this year's Olympics. 6 other teams, including Germany, Brazil, the United States, Japan, Poland, and Canada, all made the Olympics through the FIVB, which is basically just the Volleyball Federation of the world. They all made this year's Olympics through qualification tournaments. This leaves 5 other spots for this year's Olympics, and the nations that gained those spots were Slovenia, Italy, Argentina, Serbia, and Egypt. And these countries gained their spots by being the highest ranked nations not already qualified for Paris in last month's FIVB World Rankings. But you need to know that there was priority going to countries from a continent that hadn't yet had a team in the tournament, which is a major detail. This is the reason why Egypt, which is currently ranked the number 19 volleyball country in the world, made it over Cuba, which was currently ranked 12th. Cuba should have made the Olympics as the higher ranked volleyball team, but since there were already 2 North American teams that had qualified for the Olympics, the priority went to Egypt because they were the highest ranked volleyball team in the continent of Africa, which was a continent that did not yet have a team in the Olympics. The format for this year's tournament is different for the first time since 1968, as this year's games will feature a 3-pool setup instead of 2. Each of these 3 pools will consist of 4 teams total. In the preliminary round, every team in each pool will play against each other once. The top 2 teams from each pool will automatically qualify for the quarterfinal stage. The last 2 spots in the quarterfinals will go to the 2 best 3rd place teams. So out of the 12 teams that qualified for the Olympics, only 8 will be advancing to the playoffs. And the way that this tournament is set up, it is impossible for all 4 teams from one pool to make the quarterfinals. After the preliminary round is over and we have our 8 teams advancing to the playoffs, they will be placed in a single elimination bracket, and this will determine who takes home the gold. The 2 teams that get knocked out in the semifinal round of the playoffs will compete for a 3rd place bronze medal. So now that we know the basic format of how the tournament is going to work, let's take a deeper look at the pools. In Pool A, we have France, Slovenia, Canada, and Serbia. France was the last team to win a gold medal back in 2020, and they currently just won the 2024 VNL championships. I would say personally, this team is definitely a heavy favorite to win it all this year on their home soil. Slovenia is another one of the best volleyball nations in the world currently, and in the last major tournament that they competed in, they only lost 1 match in the entire pool play preliminary round of the event. It is without question that they absolutely have some of the best talent in the world when it comes to the sport of volleyball. Canada is another very good volleyball nation, as they had a great showing in this past VNLs. They made the VNL championship round as a 5th seed, which is quite impressive. And the last team in Pool A is Serbia, and I definitely think that they have a lot of strong volleyball talent. I'd say one of their biggest strengths is their service pressure, as they pack a ton of heavy, hard-hitting jump servers that could give any team a tough time. Moving into Pool B, we have Poland, Italy, Brazil, and Egypt. And I think without a doubt, Pool B as the best volleyball talent compared to the other two pools. Poland is definitely another heavy favorite to win this year's Olympics. From players 1 through 12 on their roster, they are absolutely loaded with some of the best volleyball talent in the world. Because of their talent, they are always able to put different combinations of players out there on the court and keep other teams guessing. It is truly a gift to have a volleyball nation that is that talented from their best player all the way to their 12th player. I'd say there's a pretty good chance that Poland makes it pretty far this year. The next team featured in Pool B is Italy, and I think they have arguably one of the best volleyball players currently in the world, Alessandro Michieletto. The 22-year-old will be making his Olympic debut as a 6'11" lefty outside hitter. I think without a doubt this guy is going to go down as one of the best volleyball players in the history of the sport. And the supporting cast that he has around him makes Italy a fierce competitor for this year's Olympics. Then we have Brazil, which is historically one of the best volleyball nations in the world. I would say that Brazil is currently in a transition period. In recent years, they have had some volleyball legends compete for them, but the problem is they're slowly starting to get up there in age. I would say that Brazil's volleyball team is currently a mix of old and new faces, and we'll get the chance to see if they have the firepower to battle it out with Poland and Italy in Pool B. And if we're being honest, I have absolutely no clue what's going on in Egypt when it comes to volleyball. All I'm gonna say about Egypt is that they probably need to buckle in because Pool B is absolutely brutal, and I think that there is a very realistic chance that they go 0-3 in pool play. I'm sorry to the Egyptians out there watching this video, but the reality of it is that Cuba probably should have made the Olympics over you guys. And technically the only reason that you're even in this year's Olympics is because you're from Africa. And Africa needed a volleyball team to compete in the Summer Olympics, so I guess there's that. Moving into Pool C, we have Japan, the United States of America, Argentina, and Germany. Japan has started to emerge onto the volleyball scene, and they have been on an absolute tear recently. In the 2023 VNLs, they made history with a 3rd place finish. And in the 2024 VNLs, they made history again by finishing 2nd in the entire tournament. I think that Japan plays the cleanest brand of volleyball in the world, and they are definitely going to be a force to compete with this year in the Olympics. The United States of America is the next team in Pool C, and I am so excited to watch this group compete once again. This is probably the last time that we will see the likes of Micah Christensen, Eric Shoji, Matt Anderson, and TJ DeFalco all compete together in an Olympic event. But the core of Team USA Volleyball is one not to be messed with, and although they did not have the greatest showing in this year's VNLs, I had a sneaky suspicion that they had their eyes focused on the bigger prize, which is an Olympic medal. We'll see if this squad will be able to get it done. And then we have Argentina, which is a volleyball team that I am super impressed with. And the 8th seed Argentina took on the number 1 seed Slovenia, and they pushed Slovenia to a 5-set thriller in which they had an opportunity or two to win that match and pull off the upset of the century. Even though Argentina did end up losing in the quarterfinal round of the VNLs, it proved to the rest of the world that they can compete with just about anybody. And they're going to need that competitive spirit in order to try and earn themselves another spot in the quarterfinal round of the Olympic tournament. And the last team that will be featured in this year's Olympics is Germany. And during my entire Volleyball Nations League trip, I didn't get to see Germany play once. All I really know about Germany is that they didn't do too well in this past VNLs, and they have the TikTok sensation Tobias Crick. Make sure to go check out his TikTok. He makes some creative volleyball content, I will say. So now that you know how the tournament works and the teams competing in the tournament, the only other thing that we need to do is look at some players that I think you should be watching for this year's Olympics. And first and foremost, we have Yuki Ishikawa of Japan. Yuki Ishikawa is the heart and soul of the Japanese volleyball team. The 6'4", 28-year-old is currently in his athletic prime. And without a doubt, I think he's going to be one of the best outside hitters in the entire tournament. I mentioned him before, but another absolutely electric outside hitter that you need to look out for is Alessandro Michieletto. When you look at his physicals, he is truly a one-of-one when it comes to the game of volleyball. Because not only do you usually see 6'11" volleyball players be turned into middles, very rarely do you see them have the opportunity to play outside hitter. And not only that, but also be a left-handed volleyball player. He is truly a one-of-one volleyball unicorn, and I cannot wait to watch Italy and him take on the rest of the world. When it comes to our very own Team USA, we definitely need to be talking about TJ DeFalco. The 6'6", 27-year-old not only lets his play do the talking on the court, he also does the talking on the court. He is without a doubt must-watch volleyball, and if Team USA wants a real shot at medaling this year, this is the man that is going to help us Americans get the job done. I think that me personally, those 3 players are the ones that I am most excited to be watching this year. I could spend all day talking about a multitude of other different volleyball players that I enjoy watching, but if you are just starting to get into international volleyball, trust me, watch those 3 guys throughout the Olympics and your mind will be blown. Thank you guys so much for watching. As the Olympics happen this summer, we will be sure to make more videos breaking down the action as it plays out in real time. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on a single PME volleyball upload. I for one am super excited for the Olympics this year, and I hope that this video gave you the opportunity to be just as excited as I am. Make sure to go out there and play some volleyball. PME Volleyball is out. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.